Good afternoon. How are you? Well, we're on the trail again, and the unofficial, non-statistical, undemocratic manner has been decided that if we're going to be a gang, we're going to be the dirt road gang. So, any comments? Please let me have them. I'll try to see them all. The Thomas Jefferson report today is that Thomas Jefferson has noted that we're at 82 degrees, although it doesn't feel like that, and 45% humidity, and 7 miles. Look at it. You can see it. Look behind me. Look at this. Does that look like any wind at all? Nothing. But it's gorgeous. I mean, doesn't that look like the background of a movie when in fact it's true and real and it's natural? And so I'm in a good mood today because you may recall I said that it takes several days after an event like the debate that we had to start getting a reaction. So now we're getting this reaction. And so, for example, North Carolina and Georgia have been shifted to a toss-up status. And it's a fractional difference between them. And when I say fractional, it's less than 0.3 between each of them. And this is a change. And again, this is the thing, the delta. This is what Newton created. He created calculus to measure the change in a variety of factors, if you will. And in this case, we're talking about support for a presidential candidate according to a poll taken at a particular time with, say, 1,700 people. And then there are formulas to determine how accurate the probability is, say 95%, looking at a bell curve. And some of you are familiar with this, know all of that. But the bottom line is, it is a pretty stable snapshot of what's going on if you adhere to a number of probabilistic disciplines at the same time. So that's one. Now, Trump is going nuts, of course, because his NASDAQ trading was halted. That is for Truth Social, and it was because it skyrocketed on Friday after Trump said he won't be selling shares to the company. And this may sound untrue, but it is. There are what they call routine limits up and limits down to minimize volatility in the market. And so they twice stopped trading on Truth Social, which is ironic because it's been a long time since there was any Truth Social or otherwise coming out of Trump. But let's go back to the polls. After the debate on September the 10th, it appears that nationally, now are you sitting down? We've been listening to In the Margin of Error a lot. Nationally, Harris is at 50% and Trump at 45%. Now, I love Biden, but he had never gotten those numbers. And you know there's not a lot of happy campers over at Trump's headquarters. I suppose they're starting to rent tents now. We'll find out. And independence, one of the things that we talked about, that everybody's talking about really, is how are we going to do with different groups? Who are we going to subtract from either undecided or Trump supporters? And the independents went from a -9 up to a 10 plus. So that's a big leap. And I'd wait to hear if everybody's comfortable with the sample size and so forth of this delineation of the independent vote. And for Harris, among Latin Americans, the numbers went up 4%. For blacks, it went up 14 points over Trump. And in terms of the 18 to 29, don't you love Taylor Swift? The entertainers, the people who are touching that generation, who are giving them a pathway to participation like has never happened for the young, perhaps in my lifetime, maybe going back to the 60s when we were very alert and very upset about what was going on. But 18 to 29, 17 points up. So this is a big deal. And the question is, will it continue? But if you want to look for the desperation that comes from Trump, look at Laura Loomer. Loomer. Lulu Loomer. She's the source of the Haitian pet-eating nonsense. And I think that this conspiracy theory has reached the escape velocity of capturing any independence. How many people can hear that nonsense and think that this is a guy that should have his finger on the button? I don't think so. She was Lulu Loomer, we should call her, also had racist remarks about Harris's Indian ancestry, so bad that Representative Green, I mean, you talk about a colossal bunch of Confederates who are crazy, she called out Lulu Loomer, for her appalling and extremely racist remarks. And then, of course, Loomer came back against Green. People live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, saying that she was anti-Semitic. So it's a splendid time in the Republican Party. Now, Taylor Swift is a part of the new digital community. I know she's an entertainer and so forth, but there are things about her, the way she conducts herself privately as a professional, as an entertainer, that has captured a huge audience. And I don't want to say something trite like she wants to give back, but she is concerned and disturbed by what she sees when she sees Trump. And so she went to endorse Harris after the debate, and it had a sensational reaction. So you can say the younger generation may be winning this race one meme at a time. Now, there's a deputy campaign manager, Rob Flaherty. I'd like to say he's related, and perhaps because the Flannerys come from County Mayo originally, somebody should check that out and see if we are distantly related some way or other. The Irish term for our sept, if you will, is Flannabragh, Flannabragh. And apparently through history, according to the authorities on this, we're an active, vocal, writing group that's shown some leadership capacity in the past. What do I know? But the statement by the campaign manager about the influence of youth is that these are feral 25-year-olds, and they're tapping into the rhythms of an online culture for quick reaction virality. Now, my question is, are we, as a result of this phenomenon, are we going to see a tipping point by the end of September? Now, it's not impossible. In my recollection, when Clinton ran against Dole, Clinton captured the vote on the way to the convention in August and leaving the convention so thoroughly, so powerfully, that Dole could not come back. And Dole, who didn't want to go out licking his wounds before the race was over, campaigned. He was an older man at the time, and he campaigned through to the end. And I got to know him a little bit because of the memorials that he supported, particularly the one for World War II. And he sought the help of both Democrats and Republicans on the Hill. And so that was the minimal experience I had with Dole. But I certainly didn't support him for president because of all of his other views. And the way Clinton fought that race, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the unstated game plan here. You know, try to do that, and then just keep fighting to the election day. Make Trump chase his tail around in circles as they beat his brains in with his own words. That's the beauty of this. He is committing political suicide day by day for any hope of capturing the middle. And I don't know that there's an election. Well, we've had plurality elections in which a person like Trump in 1916 got less than the majority, but won with the Electoral College. And that's the battle we're fighting this time. A man who doesn't get, man or woman, who doesn't get the votes of the majority of Americans. But right now, Harris is at 50, he's at 45, and she's pushing forward and campaigning hard in all the battleground states. These are encouraging times, but we are part of the got your back element of this campaign. We have to help the election along by giving what we can, time, money, word of mouth to someone else, filling out postcards, talking to your neighbors, whatever it takes. Getting an absentee ballot, voting early if you don't think you can vote on election day. These are the things that will make a difference this year. And the stronger that vote, the more likely will we be able to march into the future. For the young and the saged and the people in between, for the wealthy and the middle class and the poor, for those who are beset by discrimination, whether they be women or persons of color or from a foreign nation state, but citizens here, and those who are within our borders who, well, their biggest crime for most of them is that they can't live elsewhere. And we haven't yet changed, I don't believe, the notion that people come to America for asylum. And nowhere is it said that that person should be from Norway or Sweden exclusively. Norway and Sweden don't say that. And we don't say that either. We say we welcome people with certain requirements because we understand the world is not always fair and just. And there was a time before Trump when we were a beacon of the extended hand, of the belief in freedom, of a nation that would lead and protect others who were beset by dictators. And so we've come a crop with a person who would be a dictator if we did nothing. And so we have to show the world that we do what we say by stopping this guy at the door of the West Wing. So that's what I got to say today. And I will continue along my way in my cathedral of trees until tomorrow. All the best. Oh yeah, what is that again? The Dirt Road Gang. Bye-bye.